production. In the mix with the Commish, Nate.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Press Pass Live, your weekly podcast show for the OMFL. I am your host, the Commish, Nate, and we're jumping right into it. We got a couple of games to recap here, and we've got some things to break down as the playoffs are just around the corner. It has been a very long day for me, and we've got some things that we got to dive into. So, yeah, this is going to be a weird Press Pass Live. I've had a couple of these over my time here, and they're never fun, and so we're just going to get right into it. So let's go to week number 16 and recap some of these games. The Rams and D-Money beat Meek 41-21. Twinkie and the Eagles beat Penguins 48-21. Green Bay and Priest beat Colin in Chicago 31-28. Dallas and Dwayne beat Trey and the Chargers 45-42. Almost flip-flopped that. Bill and the Giants beat Big Hurt and the Vikings 37-13. Joker and the Bills beat Little Koch and the Browns 24-16. Kobe and the Jets beat my Saints 31-28. Close game there in Baltimore as Nipples wins 42-41 over Lost Sniper. Arizona and Maniac with a big time win here in week 16, 31-21 over Cincyburg. Kansas City and Luca win 35-21. His name is not Luca. Why can I never remember what his name is in the crazy game? I gotta go look because it's just gonna drive me nuts now. I don't know why. I always forget what his new name is. Shocks. Golly, why is that such a brain block, everybody? In my head. Shocks wins 35-21 over Byron. Panthers and Kevin have a great game. Bird wins 37-34 over Kevin. Las Vegas and Houston with an amazing game here as Jay Bowles wins 42-41 over Roger. Jacksonville and Nicehonger win 31-27 over Jay Glaze. Coming to the end of week number 16 here, you got what would have been Logan. I'll explain this later. 34-31 over Tim. Another great game here in Cincinnati. Denbrew wins 32-30 over Massimo. Reluctant Pancake Randy, he comes back, man. He gets a big time victory. 51-24 over Crazy B-Man. Couple of situations there to explain, but man, we had some really, really close, good games. I want to talk about this one, though. I think this one has some of the bigger implications to what's going to happen in the AFC playoffs. You can see here, offensive rushing game really was close between these two guys. Basically the same. Passing game, basically the same. Rushing yards, offensive yards, everything just the same. You get to the turnovers. Only one turnover in this game. It was for Miami. They got the turnover. And then looking at the red zone touchdowns, 25% in the red zone here, 75 for the Bengals. That was going to be the big time difference maker. Burrow, 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Mr. Jimmy here, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 289 yards. Looking at the, hit the wrong button. Look at the rushing stats here. Again, no one really did anything right. 17 for 57 with the 1 touchdown. Hill, 9 for 136, man. All that speed, all that athleticism there on Miami. Still big-time playmakers. Harden, 6 for 119 on the other side. Looking at the sacks here, only 1 on the day. Fairchild gave up a sack to Miami. And then looking at your tackle leaders, combined tackles, Mallard had 10 on the day. Your tackles for loss, Hill and Robinson. Your sacks only it says there was 2. Just 1 wasn't credited to the offensive line. Dotson and Hendrickson each had a sack, and then the 1 interception. Not even going to try to mess up this fella's name here. But Miami cap it close. That one's going to come down as we get to just the final staging here in the AFC. That's going to be a big-time game that's going to go a long way at home, a 2-point loss to the Bengals. Let's look at week number 17. We've got a handful of games here left to play. Man, you hate to see that number 3 over there. That many restarts just absolutely stinks. Let's roll through a couple of these here. Big Hurt in Minnesota with a 35-28 victory over Tim and the Lions. I almost said it again. Shocks, I almost said Luka again. It's just burned in my head. Shocks with a 44-34 victory over Jay Glaze. Nipples bounces back with a 33-12 victory over Priest. Trey with a 31-17 victory over Raj. Kobe bounces back with a 34-18 victory over Lost Sniper. The Colts on a really close game. Nice Sanger, I see you in the chat, having a really good game here. 42-31. They're going to fall just short as Randy continues to stay red hot. My Saints somehow snuck out a win on the road in Nashville, 31-20 against Byron. Bird with a 31-24 victory over Meek. Meek's been sort of sliding here towards the end of the season. Beal with a 31-28 victory over Jay Glaze. Jay Glaze fighting to the very end. A 1-point victory for Twinkie, 38-37 over Joker. Colin and the Bears, 36-7 over Crazy B-Man. And Cincyberg wraps up his season. Oh, no, we got one more week. Not wraps up the season, but with a big-time victory over D-Money. That's impressive, 42-29. You got to come look at this one. I know there's probably not any playoff implications, but man, you got to tip your cap to Twinkie. He's been battling this entire year. Look at the yards gained, though. 594 to 600 and 467. Sorry, flip-flopped. I got dyslexia all of a sudden. 223 rushing yards, 307 for the Eagles, 307 passing yards there for the Bills, 5 red zone touchdowns for the Bills. Allen red hot on the day, but also turning the ball over a lot. 307 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And look at Philadelphia, man. 78 combined passing yards on 1 interception in a, what would this be, 9-10 of 22. That's going to be a tough day. But the rushing game, getting it done over here. Shipley 3 for 106. Dixon 4 for 102. For a long of 73, a long of 47. Pacheco 5 for 58, a long of 17. Man, just big play after big play over here for the Eagles in the run game. Tyson 7 for 103 and 2 touchdowns to help the Eagles keep this one. I mean, the Bills keep this one close, but the Eagles just scratch out that 1-point win. Man, that's another tough day there for the right guard, giving up 3 sacks on the day. 16 total tackles for Campbell. 3 tackles for loss for him as well. 2 sacks on the day for Kelly. Your interception leaders, there was 4 of them. Campbell, Dean, Hairston, and Daniels all getting in the action. Really good game there from Twinkie. The 2-minute drill was actually a 2-minute drill, as we have a handful of games here in week number 17, and then we got week number 18. That is going to be one of the more pivotal and just kind of crazy week 18s that we have ever seen, and I will explain a little bit more about that in just a little bit. We're already going to get to our very first commercial, and just because I see his name in here, we're going to turn it over to Tony the Wrench.
Leaky pipes, clogged drains? Forget about it. Call Tony the Wrench Romano, New York's most connected plumber. Listen, I don't just fix pipes. I make problems disappear. Fast, quiet, clean. Just like Norna taught me. And maybe a couple uncles. Licensed, bonded, respected. No job too big, no secret tunnel too small. You can call someone else. Maybe they show up. You call me, I make sure it gets done. We don't just stop the leaks, we stop the talking. Now serving all 5 boroughs, and nobody asks questions.
I love that last little part, Bill. It always cracks me up. Playoff races, they are already upon us. And let me pull up Bill, because he does a really awesome job about this. I know that it's easy to kind of get lost in the sauce. He gives us so many updates, and he does it without being asked. He just sort of does it, like clockwork. And I think we lose some of the really great content that gets produced here. Let's start over here in the AFC. And this is going to be according to Bill, so I'm just going to read to you what he's got. The number 1 seed looks like it is all clinched. It's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals. The Jets are going to be the number 2 seed. There is maybe an opportunity that 2 and 3 get flip-flopped. Currently, the 3 seed is going to be the Colts. All of those guys have won their divisions. The number 4 seed currently is the Chargers. He's 9-6 in the West. The Steelers, the number 1 wild card, 11-4. They're not going to be a CPU team. I will explain that in just a little bit. Ravens are at 10-6, the number 2 wild card. Number 3 wild card, the Dolphins at 8-7, still alive. Texans at 8-7, Titans at 8-8, Raiders at 8-8, Jaguars at 8-8, Bills at 7-8, and the Chiefs at 6-9. I think the Chiefs are going to be the longest shot in all of them to be able to make it. Bills also, I think, are going to be a super long shot to be able to make it. Let's see how this thing plays out. For just the sake of my brain, after the messages that happened right before Press Pass Live, I'm just going to play what we see on the screen. Bills, Jets, Dolphins, Colts, Ravens, Chargers, and the Steelers. Some really good matchups, potentially what would have been some really great matchups, but with some movement, we're going to lose 2 owners for sure, probably a 3rd owner by the end of all of this, by the end of next advance. And so it's going to be a lot of shakeup, a lot of movement, and we'll just have to see how this thing plays out. Let's break this down one by one. Actually, let's look at the NFC really quick. Might as well look and see who is still alive over there. Rams dropping a big game this week, but they and the Giants still an opportunity maybe for a flip-flop there. So Rams are currently the number 1 seed at 13-3. Giants, the number 2 seed at 13-3. Still one more game left to go there. Number 3 seed is the Panthers at 10-6. 4 seed is the Bears at 8-7. Cowboys have it sewed up. They're at least in the wild card. They're sitting at 12-3. So there's an opportunity for them also to sort of get in the hunt here. Falcons, the number 2 wild card at 10-6. Crazy. See those 2 teams as wild card teams. Commanders at 9-6. That 2 will be a CPU team. Seahawks at 9-7. They kind of falling their way here towards the end of the season. Eagles at 8-7. I don't know that they really have an opportunity. Packers at 7-9. I'm just going to say I think that they are absolutely done. We're going to play it out how we see it. D-Money is the number 1 seed. 2 is going to be Giants and Commanders. 3, Bird and Cincyberg. That's crazy. Those guys are going to have a 3rd matchup this season. And then finally the Bears and the Dallas Cowboys. So there's going to be a couple of really good games. Let's just break down what we see if this is how it plays out, knowing we still have week 18 and a lot of stuff's going to happen before I get to come back to you next Sunday and break down what's actually happened. Kobe and Massimo, 2 teams that I think are going to be a really fun matchup. I feel like the Jets are just the way Kobe builds teams. Athleticism, speed, playmaking ability, but a quarterback that can kind of turn the ball over from time to time. Also a really good playmaker. On Massimo and the Dolphins side, lots of speed on offense, a lot of speed on defense, and he relies on the big play. He relies on the big play on offense. He relies on turning the ball over. I just think that the Jets defense is going to really hammer down on the Massimo and those offensive weapons that he has, and puts a lot of pressure on you just to be efficient, just not to turn the ball over, kind of have those 7, 8, 9 play drives to score touchdowns. And I just don't think that that is a good matchup for the Dolphins in this. I think the Jets are going to win this matchup. Moving down to the Colts and the Ravens, Randy versus Nipples, 2 guys that I think play very, very similar styles on both sides of the ball. Opportunistic defenses that need to get a couple of turnovers, and when they do, it builds their confidence. And when their confidence starts to skyrocket, it bleeds over into the offense, and they start playing offense with a lot of confidence. Guys that like to try to establish the run but can pass it. Guys with mobile quarterbacks that if you play a lot of zone, they're going to burn you on a play or 2, especially on those pivotal 3rd downs when they need to pick up that 1st down. This might be one of the better matchups that we have in this early wildcard weekend in the OMFL. That's going to be a barn burner. Flip a coin. I'm taking the Colts just because they're the higher seed. They're playing at home, and Randy is playing with a lot of confidence right now. Trey's going to get a free win as he moves into the next round after this one. This would have been, in my opinion, my best matchup, my favorite matchup, the matchup I was willing to watch and wanting to watch. I thought these 2 guys would have matched up really well against one another. Unfortunately, Logan's made a decision that we'll get to in just a little bit that has removed him from this league. we keep on trucking, and unfortunately, it's going to affect our playoffs. So that would set up 2 versus 4. No, that's not right. 4 versus 1. So Trey versus the Bengals and Denbrew, and then Randy versus Kobe. Man, those are some powerhouse matchups. We're going to come back to those. Hopping back over here to the NFC and the wild card matchups. You have what would have been Bill versus Penguins. Now, there's a lot of flexibility, right? Penguins, now that he's going to be gone, the CPU team could flip-flop with one of these other teams that are fighting, plus the Rams, the Giants, and the Cowboys are all still sort of fighting for that last number 1, number 2 seed, and sort of how that's going to play out. I'm just, again, for my own mental health sake here, going to play out what we see on the screen. Bill gets a free pass. He's going to move on to the divisional round. Bird versus Cincy Berg. Man, these two guys know each other super well. I hate these kind of matchups because you've already played this guy twice, and now you have to play him, and a loser goes home. Cincy Berg, with the outstanding season that he's had, he's going to have to go on the road for this one. There might be, I don't remember off the top of my head, there might be a chance they flip-flop, but I doubt it. I think he's going to have to go on the road. I don't think Bird's been playing that well. This would be my only upset of the wild card weekend. Bird's gained a lot of confidence in the last 3 weeks, but his overall confidence of his team has been pretty down, whereas Cincyberg is clicking on all cylinders. He's coming off of the big win against the Los Angeles Rams and D-Money, the number 1 seed. That's going to give you a lot of confidence as you go on the road. The turning point for me in this game is going to be turnovers and run game. Who can establish the run game? Who can avoid turning the ball over? I think Cincy Bird's going to get an upset win there, and now I'm going to upset my good buddy Bird. Last wild card game of the OMFL wild card weekend would be Colin versus Dwayne. Dwayne, then that just feels unfair to face a double-digit team. Even if you're Colin, a past OMFL Bowl winner here, Mr. Consistent is now coming to see you. I know he hasn't had the best season, but man, he is still consistent. 12 wins. I mean, it's just crazy how good Dwayne is and how steady and how consistent he is. He's going to get the victory here. I don't think that that's an upset there. I think they are the better team. It's just how the seeding is going to play out. So that would then send Dwayne on the road to go face D-Money, Rams, and Cowboys. And then we would have, oh no, I'm wrong about that because Cincyberg would be the Falcons. So if the Falcons would hit the road to go face D-Money, and then we would get another third matchup between Dwayne and Bill, a matchup that we've seen Bill come out on top already this season. We'll come back to those more in just a bit. On this side, back to the AFC divisional round, I'm just going to run through these. We got the Bengals versus, who did I say? The Chargers. That's right. Trey versus Denbrew. Denbrew he's back. He's got his team. He's rocking and rolling. He's playing the way that we know Denbrew normally plays. And I think being at home, even against Trey and the great play calling that Trey has, I think the big play, Burrow, getting the ball down the field, getting a couple of turnovers, it's hard to go on the road and play, especially in the AFC playoffs here. It's going to be Trey's first time at doing it since moving over from the NFC. I think he's going to make some noise, but I see the Bengals coming out on top. And then you got Randy versus Kobe, an epic matchup. I'm just going with my gut here. I think it's going to be Randy. Randy's going to have to go on the road. He's just, maybe it's because I played him recently. He just is playing with a lot of confidence, really good play caller, but so is Kobe. And maybe that's like my matchup between those two teams. I played Georgia in the Deuce, and they're so dominant. He just dominated me from the get-go. I played Kobe, who has arguably the worst roster that he had to build up when we started this season, and yet he has them as the number 2 seed. I feel like maybe I'm not giving either one of these guys the due credit that they fully deserve. Best game of the playoffs could be that Jets and that Colts matchup. Two guys that play very similar. I do love the Jets defense in this game. Can he shut down the run game of the Colts? I think he could. I'm just going with my gut, though. I think the Colts make one extra play, a late turnover leads to a field goal to win the game as time expires. And expires? I don't know. That's not the word I was looking for. Expires. That would lead to me Bengals and Colts in the AFC Championship. That'd be a really good matchup. Over here, back in the NFC, you'd have the Rams and Cincyberg. I think the Rams would be too much for Cincyberg, especially going on the road. Now, I say that he just beat him. So maybe there's a little like extra something there for D-Money to get focused here. We got 2 babies now, but so does Cincyberg. He's got some little babies running around. So like, I don't know how you'd call this one. I'm just going to go with the home team. I think both of these guys are powerhouses. Both of these guys have big playmaking ability. I'm just going home team on this one. I think the home team's going to win this one and move to their NFC championship game. And then you got Bird versus Dwayne in the last You got Beal versus Dwayne. My goodness, I messed it all up there for a second. You got Beal versus Dwayne. This is a matchup that we've seen. This will be the 3rd time this season. Again, I said it the same with the Panthers and the Falcons. I hate those matchups. You're going to see this happen once again. I still really, really like the Giants. God, I say that because of what he did in the regular season. I also think Dwayne, I don't know where he is with this team. He's Mr. Steady, 12 wins this season, long winning streaks, really great defense. We've just seen this game play out. I guess I'm just trusting my gut again and going with the home team. I don't know how to call half these games. Clearly in the gold sheet, I'm going backwards. I'm going the opposite way. So like, who knows? But this is how I see it playing out. Give me the Giants to win this game. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to come down to the very end, especially if Dwayne's wife gives him a couple adult beverages. He may be like, I don't care. I'm just having fun, right? And Mr. Beal, he's going to be Mr. Focus trying to get this thing done. That would set up Rams and Giants in the NFC Championship, Bills and Colts in the AFC Championship. I think who's going to be able to get there? Give me the Bengals. Give me the Rams. Give me Denbrew. Give me Dwayne. I just feel like the number 1 seeds in the first season tend to have the favor of rolling into the playoffs. And I also think if D-Money is going to make a run with the Rams, too many D names in this league, but if D-Money is going to make a run with the Rams, it's going to be a season. They really young defense, but an aging offense that needs some playmakers. He may have to hit the reset button really quick, and who knows what's going to happen with the quarterback, even though if I know him, he's going to find something that's going to work for him. I think he's going to try to make the run here. That's going to be 2 really, really good games. Defenses for like the Bills, Beal and his Giants, and Kobe and the Jets, man, they're going to be making plays. They're going to be putting pressure on the quarterback. They're going to be trying to cause some turnovers, whereas the offenses for the Rams and the Bengals, they're going to go after the big play. They're going to stay really consistent. Both of those guys, when they get really hot in their play calling, can just pick you apart and then hit you big play after big play after big play. These are just going to be fun matchups if they play out this way, even though if you just look at this group of teams, no matter how these matchups come to be, they're going to be really, really fun matchups. I'm just shooting the bull here, talking by myself. Give me Denbrew. Give me D-Money. They're going to be in the OMFL Bowl for season 116, and I'm just going to take D-Money. I'm just going with my gut. If you throw it at the dartboard enough, sooner or later with that guy, you're going to hit more often than you miss. It's good to see Denbrew already have his team back at that number 1 seed. We're used to seeing him there. We've seen him go on those epic runs. I think this is the start of another epic run, and that's how I see the playoffs. Do you disagree? You probably do, because I could disagree with myself. I'm not totally in love and sold on what I'm sitting here talking about either. So let me know down in the comments, even if you watch this later, what are your matchups? How do you see this thing playing out? We've got another commercial. When we come back, we're going to open up the OMFL mailbag, and then we're going to talk about the yucky stuff. We'll be right back.
Does your games against Cincyberg and Kobe have you crying into your console? Are you this freaking close to having an all-time OMFL meltdown? Is your team playing like they're being controlled by your drunk uncle? Well, don't rage quit just yet. Hold in that R2 button and sprint on over to Denbrew's Part Shack, the only place to rebuild your busted Madden roster. Your team is a dumpster fire, but I have the parts to turn those digital duds into gridiron gods. We have receivers that run faster than Bruce Caitlyn Jenner ran away from his first family. Call now or you can kiss your OMFL glory goodbye.
I appreciate Den Brew for doing that. Let's open up the OMFL mailbag, if I can get to it, the Press Pass mailbag. I appreciate Randy Nisanger so much. He is just Mr. Consistent. I think since I've moved the time, it's maybe messed this up a little bit. I'm not getting the reminders out about it, but Mr. Consistent, he's right there with me. He's getting these questions in, and he's letting me know exactly what he's thinking. Nisanger, the one question in the mailbag today, he says, who do you think will come out and get that last wildcard spot in the AFC? There are 4 or 5, 8-7, and 8-8 teams. Well, we just got the latest updated standings here from Mr. Bill. So let's go look at it. Right now, we have Dolphins at 8-7, Texans at 8-8, Titans at 8-8, Raiders at 8-8, Jaguars at 8-8, Bills at 7-9, Chiefs at 7-9. Bills, Chiefs, gone. I think it's going to take 9 wins to make it into the playoffs this year. Let's look and see who a couple of these teams have as their last game. So we got Dolphins first. He's going to have lost sniper. No, he's got the Bucks first. So he's got the Bucks this week. They're simming. So that sim could go either way for them. That's going to go a long way to figure out what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. And they got lost sniper and the Patriots here. That's going to be 2 tough games, especially depending on how this goes. My gut was going to go with the Texans, but now I'm starting to rethink that. This is why I hate sim games. This is why I hate when guys agree to sim games late in the season, because this one sim could either screw Texans, Titans, Raiders, Jaguars, or it could help them. And either way, it sucks because neither one of them were earned. Let's look at a couple of these other teams. We'll look at the Texans really quick since they're just kind of next on my list here. Texans are going to finish up the season. I wish you could just go backwards, but you cannot. They're going to finish up their season against the Colts. That's a really, really tough one. Colts are trying to make a last push for that as high of a seed as they can. They're not going to. I guess Randy, if he could tell us, like, are you more worried about injuries or you're more worried about confidence? This could be a tough game. I'd say that Randy's going to play this one out. That's going to be a tough victory for them to pick up, the Texans to pick up while they're on the road against one of the top teams in the AFC. Currently, the number 3 seed, but I guess technically still has an opportunity for that number 2 seed. Looking at the Titans really quick, this is the guy I told him after getting lucky against him last night, go get that last wildcard spot. He finishes up against the Jaguars, so that one's going to play out by itself. Titans, Jaguars, losers done. Winner gives themselves a chance. It's going to be a long shot. Those 2 teams definitely need to be watching what happens in the sim of the Dolphins and the Bucks. That's going to be a big-time game that's going to determine what happens in this game here between Byron and Randy. That's just, again, it goes back to why those sims are so important and why I hate them so much. And then finally, I mean, we can look at the Bills, but I just don't think they have an opportunity. Too little, too late. They're going to wrap up against the Jets, who also want to confirm that they have that number 2 seed. That's going to be a tough one on the road for them. So, gun to my head, I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I think they're going to get the better of the luck. They're going to get a free W this week against the Bucks. Then it's going to come down to that last game. Texans have a hard time at it. Titans and the Raiders. We didn't look at the Raiders. Let's look at the Raiders really quick. He plays the Chiefs and Shocks. So Chiefs also technically still in it. Chiefs can play spoiler. They could end Jay Bowles' season. Shocks can do that. He is red hot here in the second half of the season. I'm just going to stick with the Dolphins. I just think that they've got, quote unquote, the easier lane to get there. I don't think any of these lanes are going to be super easy, but I think he has the easiest lane out of all of them. What up, Big Hurts? Good to see your name, bud. I haven't seen you in quite some time, and I know you've had a lot going on, and it's just good to see your name. So, all right, one more commercial, and then we get to talk some ugly stuff. We'll be right back.
Howdy there, y'all. Have you ever had trouble staying fresh in your Madden game? Has your FPR really stunk it up? Do you reek from sweaty gameplay? If you answered yes to any of these, we can help. We are proud to tell you about a great new product. We call it Dream Bean. Yes, that's right. Dream Bean works hard to get rid of stale Madden gameplay, penetrates deep into the pores to reach those stubborn, hard-to-reach FPR issues. Turn that Madden reek into Madden chic with Dream Bean, state-of-the-art design that gets the job done. We use all natural ingredients to create the best-smelling, cleaning FPR product on the market today. So don't delay. Call now and get yourself Dream Bean clean. Operators are standing by. Call 188-FPR-CLEAN. Call now.
I appreciate our buddy Maniac for doing those, man. Those are all so good. My favorite thing to do. And if you've never seen all of them, then you got to come hang out on the stream. So question of the day for me to unpack by myself, I think is very fitting to the stuff that we need to quickly talk about. I'm not going to get into super details because just out of respect for how things went down. But why do we have FPR? I think it's such a hot button topic. I think in every single league, right? You have leagues that want and design themselves to be very just open, just play the game as it is designed, which is a video game. Play it as a video game. Go and do whatever it takes to win. Just play the game. Just play. And that's fair. And that fits for a lot of people. For a lot of other people, though, we want there to be a bit more structure. We understand that the game is flawed. And the game has gimmicks that are overpowered, or they have crutches that people use. I don't think you have to go very far, but to do two things if you would like to debate that, even though I don't think anybody would debate that. Number one, watch any Madden championship, and you would immediately see that they do the same three things over and over and over and over and over, and it's who can do them most efficiently, effectively, quickly, and without the least amount of mistakes. Or just go play the CPU. And again, you'll see the CPU do the same three things over and over and over, even though they've tried to make adjustments and make that better. And I think it just shows you that the game is what the game is, and that it is the structures that make the game, in my opinion, the way that we play here, enjoyable. Just like Monopoly and other board games where, sure, you could play by the rules in the book, but it's those homemade rules that sort of guide the culture of how you play Monopoly at your house, or how you play whatever your favorite thing is at your house, playing by those house rules. And the guiding concept has always been the same. We call them fair play rules because they are guidelines to keep things fair. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to remove the gimmicks, or at least remove the impact of gimmicks, and we're trying to make it an even playing field, which is exactly what the NFL does. Every rule is designed in the NFL to make it as open and even and level as possible, so that every team feels they have a chance. Just a hint, so that every team spends money. So that every fan spends money on their team. Everybody wants to go to games and buy the merch and listen to the shows. And it's a multi-billion-dollar business because they were able to make everyone in the offseason feel like they have a chance to win the Super Bowl, and teams can come out of nowhere, right? That worst to first style team. In the OMFL, we try to do that with our FPR. And again, you may not agree with how we approach FPR or like how we approach FPR. I think I am constantly pushing the league to evolve with the game, evolve with the NFL, and evolve with how the game is played, where we can open it up as much as we can. It does not make me happy or proud or excited to hear, oh, I have to play by tracking my plays, or I have to play by, having the rule book next to me. Now, I've also had to come with terms that some of you may choose to do that, and that's your own personal choice. But I think our rules are pretty simple. And yeah, I think if you just play normal, balanced football and don't abuse anything that that can be abused, or do something more than you know you should be doing it, then you're probably going to fall under 90% of the rules. Sure, we have our like weird, I don't know, I wouldn't call them weird, but we have the rules that sort of make up the flaws of the game. There's no real fatigue, and the injuries are a little weird, right? It doesn't like affect all positions the same. And so we have the 80-20 halfback rule. We also know, and this is the hot button one, this is the one that's getting most of the attention. There's two that I think have gotten a lot of the attention over the years. Roaming on defense was always a really tough one because there was no penalty. You just found the fastest, strongest player you could. You flopped him in the middle of your field. You controlled him, and you could go sideline to sideline in a blink of an eye, and there was no real way to combat it. It was very unrealistic. No human could do that for 45, 50 plays a game and still survive, right? And so we had the no roaming rule, trying to keep you to play your position. If you're in man defense and manned up against a receiver or running back, a tight end, then you should be guarding him, not leaving him to go make a play, 20 yards away. If you're playing middle zone, you shouldn't be, 45 yards down the field on the left hash or left sideline, right? Like, we put in these sort of standards to say, if you pick these positions to play in these areas, then you should stick in those areas, which adds strategy on both sides of the ball. How do I attack? How do I want to defend? What player do I want to be? How am I going to build up my team? How am I going to design my play calling? All of that. It adds strategy and an even playing field to sort of set the standard on we're all playing the same. The other one has been sort of the biggest issue that I have faced as a commissioner, and that is non-wide receiver throws. And we have been all over the map over the years. Ultimately, what it comes down to is that no matter how fast your players are on defense, especially your linebackers, no matter how smart they are, no matter how much of an X factor they are, you can still abuse them with tight end throws. You can still abuse halfback checkdowns. And if there were no FPR, we would have games, because we have literally seen them, where there were just no strategy in play calling. My camera's all messed up a little bit. I'm going to have to work on it a little bit later. But there's no strategy in play calling. And instead, it's just check down city. Boom, 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 boom. 15 of 18 completions. The quarterback goes 18 of 18 for the game for 200 yards. And you just can't stop them because they're just checking everything down. And because you're on defense forced to mix in man and blitz and these other plays and not just abuse a zone, he can just pick you apart all day long. And this is why we had to take motion out of the game, manual motion, because guys literally just put a man in motion. Oh, he's in man, he's in zone. I'm audibly to this play. There's just no strategy because you can do things a lot quicker, and there's no physicality in a video game than you can in real life. Like, you can do those things in real life, but there's a lot of physicality, there's fatigue, your brain isn't working. Like, there's other things that even the playing field, which is why there are no rules like that in the NFL, where we don't have those things here, and we have other things that kind of come in the way. So this is why I think you got to have these type of FPR. So here's where we landed tonight. A couple of weeks ago, Logan was popped with like his 5th FPR break that was never turned in, that was never self-announced, whatever that we called that. I'm drawing a blank. And so you guys see me. I gave him a pretty big pop. I had to be like, yo, we got to get your attention. You got to clean these things up. This is ridiculous. Like, we tried to have a conversation the first time. It kept happening. It was like, we're beyond ridiculous now. Then Penguins got his. Again, Penguins self-reported. That's the word I was looking for. His like 3rd breaking of non-wide receiver throws. It is an issue for Penguins. It is something that he and I understand each other's perspective, but we just don't see it the same. And at the end of the day, as commissioner, you have to see it my way. If you want to play here, you got to play by these rules. And to me, it's one of the easier rules. I never even have to think about it. The only time I think about it is if my tight end gets 2 or 3 big plays. Then I'm like, okay, how many times have I went to him? That's the only time I ever intentionally think about it. But I've never played a game where my running back gets 7 catches, my fullback gets 3 catches, my tight end gets 6 catches, and my receivers have 2 catches. We've had games like that happen here. That's, again, why the FPR was there. Penguins and I had a discussion. Both Logan and Penguins were put in the boot removal vote. Logan went with last chance, but he got all but 1 vote to stay. Penguins was a 50-50, with the last vote being, take your suspension. Don't let this be an issue again. Let's move forward. Or if that's a deal breaker for you, then we'll just cut ties. And that, again, I'm trying to like dance around this because this was a private conversation. I ain't trying to air Penguin stuff out there. He decided that wasn't going to work for him, so he decided to leave. Logan, because him and Penguins are buddies, decided to also leave. Logan, just bluntly, didn't even give me the respect of being an adult and having an adult conversation. He was playing literally I'm really pissed off about the Logan one. Didn't even have the decency. He was playing a board member. I guess found this out as they were going to connect and just quit without saying anything to anybody and just left. And it's just, yeah, I'm too old for that kind of stuff. I won't deal with it. So Logan, unfortunately, is done in our league. I don't know if he's done in our community. That will be up to him and I suppose Maniac. Penguins has decided, I think, to leave the community. I'm not fully sure on that one. He's definitely left the CFM and everything else. So unfortunately, we're losing 2 owners. Crazy B-Man has also decided to retire. I asked him to take the rest of the season to think about it, which is literally 1 game. So basically take your 24, 48 hours, take your 1 game and think about it. He just physically feels like he can't keep up because he has his health things going on. Again, not my platform to talk about anyone's health stuff. Yeah. So if you are friends with, anyway, there's nothing I can say there that won't, I'm just going to shut up. So this sucks. This is the suckiest part about being a commissioner. I don't agree with either side. I voted for Penguins to stay. He's been here a long time. He is a donating board member. He has boosted the server multiple times. Like, Penguins is a very unique guy, a unique personality. I know he rubbed a lot of people around here wrong. He and I have had our moments. But if you've been around here anytime, you know that even those who like blatantly did not vibe with me, I still had a hard time letting them go. So I also don't agree with like, just fix it. Just throw to receivers. To me, that is not difficult. It feels like a stupid hill to die on openly. And I've told him as much. So it is what it is. Lucky for us, we have a waiting list, and there's always people that want to be in the world's longest online CFM. Messages have went out to 3 of them. 2 of them I know for sure will be in. The 3rd is still TBD. We'll see exactly how that one will play out. So I ask all of you to be respectful to those who are not here anymore, whether they stay in the community or not. It sucks. I'm just going to move on with my life. The Logan thing has really gotten under my skin openly. I don't know if I'll even talk to him again. So if he ever watches this, bro, that's childish. You got to be an adult. And that's not how adults handle stuff. Penguins was nothing but respectful. We had an adult conversation. I don't love how it ended. I ain't excited about it. I feel like it's a stupid hill to die on for this place. But again, it's a video game. And there's other leagues to go play. So I hope he finds the one that he's looking for and one that fits his vibe. And I've been around here long enough to see this story play out multiple times over. And yeah. I think sometimes, especially in youth, I know I did. I'll speak from my experience. You make these like statements, right? These stands, these quick boom, boom, boom. And I think the older you get, you realize that like, A, it's not worth it. B, what's the ultimate price here? And C, the stuff always comes around, man. It just does. It always comes around. So I wish Penguins the best. Logan, I got to be honest, I never really got to know him. He was not really engaged in the league, and my interactions with him were as a commish were never fun. I'm just disappointed that we can't act like adults. That's the name of this community, grown folks. It's like act like an adult. The chat is dead. My gays, I appreciate you. I'm sorry I didn't get to your message. Eagles still Super Bowl contenders. As long as you have the ring on your finger in real life, you are still a contender. They're going to be fine. There's a long season to go. I think the Eagles in real life are going to be just fine. So I ask that you guys take care of each other, though, in the OMFL. Make sure that you're respectful to those guys. And, let's not – I don't need anybody to defend me. And I don't need anybody to defend this group. Just be you and enjoy this group. Enjoy this group of guys and enjoy what we get to do here or don't. It's up to you. But, let's not do anything that we would regret as adults. So I don't want any messages sent on behalf of this. I hope Penguins watches this. I hope Logan watches this, because I would say this to them. I ain't hiding anything. I ain't talking smack online and internet. To me, this is all dumb. This is all a video game. And it's all super disappointing. It's the worst part about being a commissioner and running a league. And you guys have seen it get real ugly around here before. It stinks. So, and yet we're still here, and we'll continue to still be here long after I'm done. So on that note, I'm going to get out of here because it's 7 o'clock, and I need to go do some other things before I get back a little later tonight. So unfortunate news to wrap up the show, but the playoffs are right around the corner, and that's going to get all of our attention back on that. Then the offseason, which is everyone's favorite time around here. We're going to get some old blood possibly back. Zoe and Pepper are the first two up for grabs. Pepper's an old-time, long-time owner here. You talk about two guys bumping heads that have had to work through some stuff. That's me and Pepper over the 10 years or so we've been around each other, maybe longer than that now. And then Zoe, who I know from the Deuce and who Maniac, and I think maybe the NBC or something like that have had around here for some time. I've always been excited about trying to find him a team and getting him the opportunity. This is not how I thought I'd get there. But as I always tell anybody who gets on our waiting list, you could be sitting here for 2 Madden cycles and nothing, or overnight, I could have 5 teams open up. It's weird the way it happens. It comes in bundles, and it's coming in a bundle again. Definitely 2 teams open, probably a third coming at the end of the season. I will have owners for each of them. I'm not worried about it. We'll get filled and get moving here. All right, I'm getting out of here. Take care of yourselves, guys. Take care of each other. Know that I love you and you matter. I might stream tonight. I might not. I don't even know if I'll be around. We'll see. All right, I'll see you tonight. Bye.
Smash that like and subscribe.